birthday. Priet Castle, July 31st. St. Harry, Harry, come on honey, wake up. Harry heard Charlotte's voice calling him, but as he would normally be glad to get up today, he wanted to sleep a little longer. Sleep. He curled under the covers, carefully remembering Emerald was at the foot of the bed. Come on now, you have to get up. It may be your birthday, but even birthday boys and girls have to wake up at a certain time on their birthdays. Harry groaned and pulled the covers over his head. Sleep. He mumbled it, but it was still an easy word to make out. Okay then, you leave me no choice. Harry heard a whistling sound and his eyes widened when he suddenly felt something huge and furry jump onto the bed and under his covers. A large wet tongue started lapping at his face, and while he tried to push the beast off, he ended up getting tangled in the covers. EWW. Get off, Padfoot, yuck. The dog kept licking at him, and when Harry finally got his arms free, he ended up on the floor with the blankets around his waist. That's bloody insane, using him against me. Charlotte just laughed, and Harry saw she was still in her bathrobe. Hey, I told you boys have to get up even on their birthdays. Now come on, we've got a big day planned for you, and tonight you're going to have a party. Harry's eyes widened. Party? Of course. Your friends from Durmstrang, plus me and your godfathers, and your headmaster are going to throw you a party tonight. Victor will be here too, but he's going to be a little late. Quidditch practice. Sirius changed back into his human self. Today my godson is officially 14. Merlin, do I remember those days like it was yesterday. Sirius got a dreamy look on his face. Sirius, don't start that now. The last thing Harry needs is to be drawn into one of your stories about your unbalanced teenage years. Remus came into the room. He had on some jeans and a long-sleeved shirt. Unbalanced? Sirius pretended to be hurt. Oh, hush you two. Now get down to the kitchen, breakfast should be almost ready. Sirius' eyes widened happily and he rushed past the others to the kitchen. Remus laughed and wished Harry a happy birthday before following. All right, up you go. Charlotte helped Harry stand and helped remove the blankets. Thanks. So what time is the party? It starts at 5, not too many people but enough to have a little pool party like I know you've always wanted. But is there? I charmed the main ballroom, and Sirius and Remus helped fix the pool up. Decorations are getting set up now, but you won't see it until later. Now first breakfast, then shower, and then today your godfathers are taking you out shopping for your birthday gifts from them, and I'll be busy making sure the castle gets clean because I know your friends might want a tour when they get here. Lunch? I'll be meeting you at Lapierre's for lunch. It's a fantastic restaurant and I made reservations 2 weeks ago. Will we need to dress up? Charlotte shook her head. You can dress casual, besides they know me either. The ministry had several functions and if we had a successful one we'd go out and celebrate. Now, let's get downstairs. I think I smell your favorite breakfast cooking. Eggs in a basket with turkey bacon and strawberry jam on toast? With deliciously fresh squeezed orange juice. Commander Harry wasted no time going out the door, and he made it straight to the table where Sirius was devouring his omelette and coffee while Remus was reading the Oracle and the Prophet, much to Harry's disdain. Oh, it smells so good, Charlotte whispered. You still get that? Harry saw the headline, boy who lived still missing, nowhere to be found. Have to keep up with what little information we can get, Harry, but so far nothing too serious other than your disappearance. Remus put the Prophet away. Before I eat, what all's going on down there? He didn't know what he asked, but he did anyway. Dumbledore and the others still haven't taken off that block on the Dursleys. It's bloody strong, even an expert would need additional help. Charlotte did her work well. So they still don't know where I am? Remus shook his head. I should tell you, Harry, Molly and Arthur keep asking about you. Harry sat down and Sirius wiped his mouth. They were furious at their children and Hermione for what happened, but the twins. 12 They didn't have an excuse, but they didn't mean to hurt you. Turns out they didn't know about the rumors. You remember how they are. Yeah. Harry was a bit skeptical. How could they not know? Not sure. We don't talk to them much, but it seems them, along with Charlie and Bill Weasley plus Molly and Arthur, all keep hoping you're all right. They keep asking us if we know anything, but no, we don't tell them. Good. Whether they meant to or not, I can't face them right now. He could believe Molly and Arthur would be on his side, but they did raise Ginny and Ron, and those were just purely hateful. Don't worry about it, Prongslit. Don't let them ruin your birthday, all right? You know there's a fantastic Quidditch shop in Paris. Do you want to check it out? Sure. Harry's food appeared before him and he began to eat. Charlotte helped the elves clean up the mess and sat down soon after to eat her own breakfast. It almost reminded him of Molly's kitchen and cooking. Hey Mum? Yes Harry? Have you been having any visions lately? A few in the last week. Why? I mean, have you seen anything about Snape? Why, he asked that. He had no idea. The man made it clear that he didn't want anything to do with Harry. Honestly no, I haven't been keeping tabs on him. Why not? Well, I didn't think much of it. Do you want me to? Harry shook his head. No, just wanted to ask. Everyone just went back to breakfast, and Harry kept quiet until he finished his. He wasn't to let anyone wreck his birthday, not since he was finally away from the Dursleys and those people in London. He would have a good birthday for once in his life. Okay, Harry, let's get dressed, because the sooner we get to shopping the sooner we can eat at that fancy restaurant. Sirius practically grabbed and shoved Harry out the room, and Harry just beat him upstairs into his room. Back in the kitchen. Charlotte, there is something you need to know about Severus. Charlotte started gathering up dishes but paused when Remus spoke. What is it? She shooed the house elves out the kitchen. I saw him a few days ago, before we left London, and honestly I almost don't recognize him. He set down his cup. He seems like he's aged a good bit. I believe it's the stress of all that's happened. Really? Charlotte didn't seem convinced. I believe he regrets what happened to Harry. I know the pain when I see it. Albus, I overheard him talking to Minerva one night at the Three Broomsticks, and he said that Severus' health isn't doing much better. His classes are fine, he can put the mask on for that, but every day it looks as if he's fading off. He deserves to feel pain for what he did. A simple "I'm sorry and I can make this right" won't be enough for Harry. I know. I'm just concerned for him. I think since the last time I was at Hogwarts he saw Poppy a few times. You really haven't been looking into it, have you? Charlotte shook her head. Would you look, just for a moment, to see how he's taken this? I suppose, but only because you asked. Charlotte sighed, breathed in, and then her eyes glazed over to blankness. Her expression changed after a moment, but it turned to confusion. Then it turned to frustration until Charlotte started breathing quickly. What's wrong? Charlotte quickly regained her composure, but the look of shocked confusion stayed on her face. I can't see him. Remus was stunned. How? I don't know, it could just be his magic blocking me. Didn't you say he was a master at Clumens? Remus nodded. It could be that, or this is just a blind spot, but I will look when I can. That had never happened before. Charlotte hadn't checked on Severus in a while, but this was odd. It could be or it could be something else. Remus helped Charlotte finish cleaning the kitchen. While Remus went upstairs to finish dressing, Charlotte went down to the basement to gather some decorations for the party that evening. Later that day. Phew, damn Harry, you've about run us ragged. Harry laughed as he watched Sirius fake collapse onto a bench in the magical alley of Paris. It was almost like Diagon Alley, but the people had on shinier clothing and most of the girls above age 13 wore makeup. Probably Buxton students. It had more shops too, and the Quidditch one was loaded with equipment mainly because it supplied most of the European teams across the world. Come on Padfoot, you can't be getting old on me now. Sirius' head snapped to him. Old? I'll have you know I'm 22 years old. He tried to flex his arm muscles, but Harry heard a crack. Yeah, maybe 10 years ago you were. Don't worry though, you've still got some years left till you're old and withered like a cornstalk. Say maybe 5 or 6? Remus joked and Sirius punched his arm. Harry had bought some new clothes more suitable for outdoors since he liked walking around the Priet Castle gardens. He got a polishing set for his broom. He even bought a couple of books about ancient dark arts that Remus found for him. Well, actually his godfathers bought it all, but Harry picked it out though he didn't want to get too much. These were mostly things he needed, but the books were a little something just for him. Come on Padfoot, you're in such good shape you'll probably live to be 100. I bet I'll live to be 200. Remus clapped his shoulder. All right, settle down you two, we need to wait on Charlotte to get here. Charlotte was due to meet them for lunch. They had about 10 minutes until their reservation. There you all are. They all spotted Charlotte coming their way. Everything is just about ready, so after lunch we will all head home and rest up because tonight is going to be big. Good, now let's eat. They marched into an alley and with a few taps on the wall a door opened, like going to Diagon Alley, but instead of shops it revealed a fancy-looking restaurant. Lady Priet, welcome. The head waiter greeted Charlotte. Hello Pierre, you are looking great as usual. They kissed each other's cheeks. The guy was almost an instant reminder of Jean, but older and with darker, puffier curly hair. He dressed well, but his voice wasn't very high or low. And you look as lovely as ever. This must be your son. Yes, Harry, this is Pierre. He's the head waiter, host of this divine establishment. Pierre, this is my son Harrison, and his godfathers Remus Lupin and Sirius Black. Pierre bowed slightly. Welcome to Ambroisie. Follow me to your table. The place was indeed fancy, but there were some witches and wizards around dressed in casual robes and mull clothing. They were led to a private room, and after taking seats Pierre passed out some menus. I recommend our daily specials. They're the best dishes in the house on this day. Thank you Pierre. Pierre took their drink orders, and then gave them some minutes to decide on food. Harry didn't want anything too heavy, but he decided on some fish and salad. He knew this day was going to be good. He just couldn't wait until tonight. That evening. Come on Harry, your friends will be here soon. The main rooms for the party were all set and the food was just being put out, colorful paper lanterns floating outside around the large garden fountain, a banner that said Happy Birthday Harry. With gold and silver colors, a large triple-decker cake, double chocolate with buttercream frosting, fancy finger foods. But despite the fact that the other guests hadn't arrived yet, the birthday boy was still in his room. I'll be down in a minute. Harry called from the tower. I think Emerald got loose up there. Charlotte laughed, just preparing the last-minute additions to the decor. Cool down Sirius, the boys will all be here soon enough. I know, but I'm ready to begin this party. I wanna see Harry open his presents. Sirius had gotten Harry a gift that once belonged to James, something he'd wanted him to have when he turned 14. He was also hungry, and Charlotte knew all men had huge appetites, but she wouldn't be the only woman here, so she didn't feel out of place. That will come after we have some food and a mingle first. Don't forget this is Harry's evening. Remus hugged him. I can't help it, I feel so odd about this. I don't know if I'm excited or just. Berserk. Sirius gave mock glare to Charlotte. Down boy. I hate it when she says that. Charlotte did joke often about Sirius being a dog, but nothing she said was to hurt him, just to tease. Okay, I'm here. Emerald was chasing a mouse. Harry came down to the garden, or the large balcony garden that was outside the main ballroom of the castle. All of Harry's friends from Durmstrang and his headmaster plus Victor would be coming. Some of Charlotte's co-workers sent Harry some gifts as well, but it would likely just be money or gift certificates. Good, the others should be. The flue in the ballroom started ringing. Oh, that must be them now. Harry went inside and saw Devon, Nikolai, Gerald, and Max all come through with Headmaster Anton with his wife Lady Mal Blagridna. "Hey birthday boy." All the boys hugged Harry and sent their gift on the table. It was one large box, a tall one, but it was from them all. "Glad you guys could come, but you didn't need to bring me anything." "We wanted to, besides we all know you'd do the same for us." Most of the boys' birthdays were in winter, but Harry didn't know the dates. They told him not to worry, they could celebrate next year, and they didn't expect gifts from him unless he wanted to. "All right, enough chatter, let's party." The boys all ran out when the music began. They immediately went for the food but left the cake alone since Harry still had to blow out his candles. Charlotte told the boys an hour or two before leaving they could play a Quidditch game on the field, but they wanted to wait until Victor came. "So how does it feel to be officially 14, mate?" Devon clapped Harry on the back. "Not that much different, but definitely better than last year." It was definitely better than last year, though there wasn't much to begin with considering Marge Dursley coming around, then Harry leaving for the Leaky Cauldron to meet Fudge after blowing her up, and then catching up with Weasley and Granger when Sirius escaped Azkaban. "Hey, just wait till you turn 17, we can go out and celebrate with drinks." Nikolai laughed. "Happy birthday, Harry." Anton came over to him. "Thank you, sir, Mom." Harry bowed to Lady Blagridna. "Oh yes, this is my wife Griselda. Griselda, this is Harrison Priet, the newest student of Durmstrang. At least until next year." Harry bowed again. "Pleasure to meet you, Mom." "A pleasure to meet you as well, Harrison. Tell me, is Charlotte good to you?" "She is. She planned all of this." Griselda smiled. "I was hoping she would be. She's so good with children. I have to admit though, her adopting a boy in his teens is a bit of a shock, but from what I've heard and what I'm seeing now, you two have formed quite a bond together." "I owe her everything." Harry glanced over at Charlotte. She was busy talking with Remus while Sirius started telling the others stories about London and Hogwarts. Anton went to join them, but Harry stayed by Griselda. On to another subject. "Harrison, how are things with your new life here?" "Great, better than anything I'd ever wanted." "Yes, Charlotte told us about your birth parents. I'm so sorry." "If anything, I understand." Harry stared at her. "You do?" "Yes, I was an orphan as well, but my father's brother took me in after he found me at an orphanage when I was 6. I admit it wasn't the best life, but it was nice that my uncle wanted me, though I wish I could say the same for his wife." "Not maternal material?" Griselda shook her head. "She wasn't hateful, she just didn't like the idea of taking on someone else's child. My uncle straightened her out though, so we made it through." "I wish I could say the same." Harry hid his discomfort at the subject. The Dursleys were bloody awful. He truly hoped they were suffering now for all they'd done to him. He had been having some nightmares, but they weren't as bad as before. He hadn't told anyone because he wanted to enjoy this new life, but if they got worse he'd have to. "Well, you have a new start for you, so let's enjoy your birthday, and I'm eager to see you open that gift." "Of course, I just hope Victor comes soon." Harry had a slight blush in his cheeks. "Miss me already, Harry?" Harry whipped around to see Victor coming in the door. "Victor, how?" He didn't get to finish as Victor pulled him into a hug. "Your mum gave me passage through the wards. I flew in from practice, but only after a quick shower and change." A quick kiss to Harry's cheek, and they joined the others outside on the balcony. Conversations went everywhere, and after about 30 minutes they ate some food, but Harry was dying to sink his teeth into that cake. "All right, time for cake," Charlotte shouted as if just reading his mind. She used her wand to light all 14 candles on the cake, and they all began to sing. "No singing, please." They sounded terrible together. None of them could sing. Harry placed his hands over his ears and waited for them to stop. All right, no more singing." Sirius laughed so hard. "It's okay, Pop, your dad hated it when we sang too." And the last time we did he slammed Sirius' face into the cake. Remus chuckled. Now let's eat. The cake was cut and pieces were passed around. The cake was so rich it melted in Harry's mouth. Thank goodness he already had a pre-dinner before all this. All right, I can't wait any longer. Charlotte, can we please let Harry open his gifts now? Sirius, you're acting like it's your party. Calm down. Remus got the dog man to sit, but Charlotte just laughed. Fine Sirius, if Harry wants to, that is. Harry pushed his plate away. I am. The first gift came from Sirius and Remus. It was a small box as big as Harry's hand, but it felt heavy. Carefully opening the gift, what he saw inside made his eyes water up a bit. It was an antique silver pocket watch with the Potter and Black family crests on either sides of it. Opening it up, he saw, other than the clock, there was a picture of James holding Harry when he was a newborn baby. Your dad gave that to me when I turned 17. It's an heirloom from your grandfather's side, but I added on my family crest and I put the picture in the day after you were born. James wanted me to keep it as a symbol of us being brothers, the best friend I ever had, and I thought maybe by now he'd want you to have it. Harry held the watch in his hand and held it to his chest. Thank you, Sirius. He hugged his godfather. I'll never lose it. I know you won't, and I should tell you now, Harry, if James saw you now he would be so proud. He would. Remus hugged Harry too. Now open your other gift. The big box came in, and Harry quickly opened it to see a broomstick inside. It wasn't a brand new one, but it looked like it had been cleaned and polished up. A new broom, but guys, I already have an Nimbus 2000. Yeah, but this here is a firebolt. It's the fastest broom in the world and we had to fix it up. Gerald motioned to the others. But who? Harry looked around and then he stared at Sirius again. It's my old broom. I figured you could use it in case you wanted to give your old Nimbus a break. Maybe you can use it in a game at Durmstrang. Sure, it's amazing. But you all fixed it? Yeah, it needed some work, so we all pitched in to send it to the best broomstick repair around. Took them a few days, but it works like it's absolutely new. We tested it to be sure. I think my dad's got one, but he doesn't use it much. Harry picked the broom up and held it in his hands for a moment. This is amazing, thanks guys. Hey, thank your godfather, he's the one who gave the idea. Devon chomped on another piece of cake. We all brought our brooms. And I brought a Quidditch set. Who's up for a game? Victor asked and all hands went up. All right, we pair into 2 teams, adults versus teens. What positions are up to the groups? Finish eating first, and I have an announcement to make about the upcoming year. Anton put his drink down and cleared his throat. I'm sure you've all heard the rumors, but this should clear it up a little because notices have already been sent out to the students. Durmstrang, along with Buxbattens and Hogwarts, have all been chosen to participate in the Triwizard Tournament, and you all know what that is, right? They all nodded. 3 schools compete in a series of magical contests for eternal glory, a reward called the Triwizard Cup, and for each school only 1 champion is selected. Remus pitched in. Exactly, and only certain students are going on this trip, and I will be going as well. The highest-ranking students in the elder years have been chosen, and with the notices they have a letter that will tell them all they need to know. A few of the youngers have been selected to go as well, but only certain ones with outstanding grades, and that includes you all boys. Jaws dropped. Us? Devon was almost speechless. Yes, you boys have done quite well, and I believe this could be a good experience for you. If you don't wish to go, you can decline, and only the younger students can do that, but your parents have already been notified in the letters as well. This won't be just a tournament, while we are at Hogwarts. Excuse me, Headmaster, we're going to London? Nikolai looked at Harry. Yes, that's where we will be going for the tournament because Hogwarts has been selected as the base for the competition. We will get there by boat, but while we are there you will still have your studies, and whoever is selected to compete will do so also. Harry. All eyes went to him. Harry hadn't thought much of going back, but the tournament was another story. I don't know, after what they did to me I don't know what to think. You don't have to go, mate, and if you don't we won't. Gerald stood up. Would be a good to show those jerks who hurt you what for though. Yeah, show them how far you've come, but if you don't want to go. No, guys, if you really wish to go then don't let me stop you. This is your chance to. Harry, we don't want to push. Yes, this would be good, but you wouldn't have to worry as long as you have us. We'll back you up. We all will. Victor touched Harry's hand. I won't let them hurt you again, but I have to go. Victor was already 17, he'd had a birthday recently before Harry, so he had no choice. Harry didn't want him to be away for a year, he wanted to be close to Victor. He looked at Charlotte and his godfathers again. It's up to you, Harry. We'll support your decision. He knew Charlotte would stop it if he asked. If he were chosen as a champion he would need her help. Sirius and Remus too, he needed them and he wouldn't be ready. He did want to get back at his former classmates, but revenge. It wasn't something to be taken lightly. Victor. He wanted to go because of him, and he would. I'll go, but only if I can support Victor or whoever else is chosen. Everyone sighed, not in relief or exhaustion, just a sigh to relieve the tension in the air. We'll be there with you, Harry. Sirius and Remus raised their glasses to him. Yes, and since we've gotten that out of the way, let's play Quidditch. Everyone got up and summoned their brooms. Charlotte, Anton, Remus, Sirius, and Griselda would go against Victor, Devon, Nikolai, Gerald, and Harry, but there wasn't much telling of which side would win. Harry let his worries go for the rest of the night. The tournament could wait. Because tonight was his night to have fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed the video. Before we close the video, I noticed 53% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. If you can, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment down below. Until next time, goodbye!